doing, good people? David Taub here, co-creator of NextLevelGuitar.com. Hope all is well. Hope your guitar journeys are going famously. Today I got a great lesson lined up where it's kind of a continuation on of lead guitar playing and soloing. In one of the last lessons, we just learned some licks to play over a B minor progression. Talked about a lot of different devices you could use when playing over this progression, as far as string bending and slides and double stops and a lot of the fun little things, jerk the chain bends that you could do. So you want to watch that previous lesson too, and we're going to incorporate some of that into these lead lines that you heard me playing in the intro. And now what we're going to do is we're going to start targeting notes within the chords of that progression and coming up with hip and cool things to make strong solo statements. And this is really, really important for you lead guitar players to get to the next level, to start looking at the chords and analyzing the chords. It's really the chords that give you the roadmap to what you can use solo and improvisation wise. The key is only part of it. You really want to look at the chords, and eventually, yes, your ear will take you to the hip sounding notes, but that takes a while, and I want to get you springboarded off so you could start to kind of, you know, unlock the secrets and get the fretboard mapped out so you know where those notes are and you could start hitting them and making strong solo statements, right? So we're going to use the same B minor progression that we used in the last one. The chords that we're using in this progression are just a B minor 7 to an E minor 7 to an F sharp minor 7. And it's just a basic 1, 4, 5 minor key. And the turnaround chord is an F sharp 7, sharp 9. So you can think of this as kind of like target note soloing, where we're targeting certain hip things to go a little bit deeper than just like glazing over the top. Like most guitar players just kind of use the same scale or the same, you know, mode over all the chords no matter what, and they're not paying any attention to when those chords change. And it really makes a big difference in your soloing. You get so much more of a sophisticated and interesting sound when you're listening for when the chords change and then hitting that change with a hip line over that. Using, in this instance, we're going to use the same scale and target notes, but you could use different scales and different modes over each chord. That would be kind of like the next step in the progression after this, right? So we're going to go deeper today. We're digging deeper. Get your shovels. All right? And the scale we're going to be using is the B natural minor scale. It's also called B Aeolian mode, B pure minor, all the same thing. And this B natural minor scale looks like this, and I'll tab this out for you, and this is a scale we're going to use over all the chords. So I tabbed out the scale on the screen and also the notes in this chord. You know, it's so important to know the notes and the intervals that you're playing. It really will help you get to your guitar goals quicker. Yes, your ear is going to take you there, and we're going to keep developing your ear, but you want to do this in tandem. Like this. Make sure you practice that just up and back to get really comfortable with it. And that's movable. That's off the low E string root, off the 7th fret, makes it B because that's a B note, B minor. Play the same shape off the 5th fret, that'll be A natural minor. Play it off the 8th fret, that's a C note, that'll be C natural minor. So it's a nice movable scale position. Key determined by the first finger on the root note. Get it to where you can play and talk over it at the same time, because then that'll really be in your subconscious, right? So remember what I said about the importance of the chords. It's the chords that give the roadmap to what you can use solo and improvisation wise, and the chords also give you the target notes that you want to land on for the hip sounding notes. And the minor 7th chord is a root or 1, flat 3rd or minor 3rd, 5th, flat 7th. Remember, over the B minor 7th, you have your B note or your root note. You have your F sharp note, which is your 5th. You have your A note, which is the flat 7th. And then you have your D note. That's the flat 3rd. Those are all great target notes over that chord. Over the E minor 7th, you have your E or your root note. You have your B note, which is your 5th. You have your G, which is the flat 3rd. And again, you have that D note, which is your flat 7. And over the F sharp minor 7th, you have your root note, your F sharp. You have your C sharp, which is your 5th. You have your A note, which is your flat 3rd, and the E, which is your flat 7. So important knowing what notes make up which chord, what the intervals are. So over the B minor 7th chord, let's come up with something that we could kind of like a repeating melodic sounding lick. Let's play this. Let's slide up on the D string up to the 9th fret, that's our root note B, and play this nice double stop on the 7th fret of the G and B string, both those notes together. Double stop, just 2 notes together. Add lots of double stops, adds a lot of texture. And then we'll go 9, 7, 9 on the D string. And then the second lick, there's our first lick. Now remember over the B minor chord, second lick. So that lick, slide up 9th fret, same thing on the D string to the B note, and play that same double stop, 7th fret, B and G string. And then we're going to play another double stop, 9th fret, B and G strings. So hit it once, and then do a double stop bend where we're going to lay our 3 fingers flat and bend up half a step. We're kind of catching that blue note. We're bending that G string up a half step to the blue note. So practice that device. Bend up, let down, and then kind of pull off from the 9th to the 7th on the G string. And then we're going to end it back on our root note, 9th fret D string. You can even do that if you want to go back to that other double stop, kind of bend it a little bit, like get that flat 3rd, little 1/4 step bend. You know, whatever you want, mix and match. So if you put both together, you get this. Maybe repeat them and vary it. Now the chord will change. So what we want to do is examine the chord changes, right? So when it changes to the E minor 7th chord, what we want to do is we want to pick out a note in that chord. In this instance, maybe we'll play the E note, or play the G note, which is the flat 3rd. There's a cool lick right there where I'm just pulling off from that G note to the F sharp on the B string from the 8th to the 7th fret, and then I'm playing the 9th fret on the G string and repeating that. And then the chord changes back to the B, so you can grab the B note, grab the D note, something in that B minor 7th chord that sounds hip. Back to our B note. See, because you can almost hear that over that chord. All within this B natural minor scale. And then after you're at the E minor 7th, it goes back to the B minor 7th. You could do more B minor licks, B minor pentatonic, you know, anything in there. You could do more of the double stop over the B minor 7th chord. But then when we go to that 5 chord, that F sharp minor 7, let's come up with something hip over that. And it's only on there for 1 measure. And then it goes right back to that E minor 7th chord. So over the F sharp minor 7th, something cool to do would be a bend like this. That would be a great bend to do, because what we're doing is we're bending the root note, which the root note of the key note B, we're bending that to a C sharp. So remember, that's the 5th in that F sharp minor 7th chord. So maybe we'll do a quick bend and release, and then bend up again with vibrato. Now, that'll take up nice and slow most of the measure. Notice we descended down to that G note because we're going back to that E minor 7th chord, so that will be really hip. So all I'm doing is I'm playing the B, 12th fret on the B string, 10th fret B string on the A note, and I'm landing it on the G note, which is, you should land it right when that chord changes on that G. That's outlining that E minor 7th chord. And then we got to get back to something over the B minor 7th chord, right? So we could do, that's the lick I played in the intro, right? So that lick is, I'm just using hammers and pulls, right? In this B natural minor scale. So, 7th fret on the B string, hammer to 8, hammer to 10, pull to 8, pull to 7. And the same thing on the G string. You're going to hammer from that 6th fret, 7th fret, 9th fret, pull to 7, pull to 6. Then we're going to go 7th fret on the D string and slide it to our root note, B, right? 9th fret on the D string. I add in this note. After you do the hammers and pulls, I land that on the E note, 9th fret on the G string. Okay? And you could even land it on the 7th fret on the D string and slide it up to the 9th fret. And then what I did, because I'm back on the B minor 7th chord, I played a B minor 9 arpeggio into a nice double stop. So this B minor 9 arpeggio is B note, starts on a B note 1st finger on the D string. I'll give you the frets, 9, 11, 12. There's our 9th, right? That's C sharp. 9, 11, 12, and then you kind of go diagonally. G string, 11th fret, 10th fret, the A note on the B string, and then our C sharp again, our 9, is the 9th fret on the high E string. That might look like a D major 7th chord. There's our root, right? D major 7, that makes sense, is the relative major of B minor, right? Or you might be playing, you might play a D major 7th there. But when I emphasize the B, it becomes a B minor 9, because I'm throwing in that 9 too. So, that arpeggio. And then what I do is I go back to that A note, 10th fret B string, slide it up to the root note, B 12th fret B string, and then I like this double stop, grabbing the D note on the 10th fret of the high E string, and I play both of them together. And that's over that B minor 7th chord. So you can kind of see how we're going over each chord, and I'm outlining them. Something to think about. This is a very subtle move I'm doing. I don't know if you caught that, but what I did here was I used my 1st finger to slide up to the B note. And I do that instead of using my 3rd finger because I want to fluidly go into that minor 9 arpeggio. So I'm always thinking to try to set myself up for the next lick. Instead of doing it here, then switching, I play that 7th fret and then quickly slide up with the 1st finger to the 9th fret. And you see how quickly I can get to that arpeggio. So if you put a lot of those licks together over each chord slow, it'll sound like this. Over the B minor, 7. And we gotta repeat it. Just varying it. Now the chord changes. See how I land on that G? We gotta get back to that B. Now the chord changes again to that F sharp minor 7. Notice chord changes to the G. And we fluidly are coming up with hip things over each chord. And remember too that there comes a time when you just kind of have to forget about all the technical aspects of the guitar playing and forget about, you know, worrying about the scale or the mode you're on, and just, you know, it becomes second nature. You just have to play. You just have to start doing musical things, right? And that comes after time. You know, at first you might be thinking about this a lot. No, I got to change this note, and you're thinking of the chord change. But as you keep doing this and keep practicing over jam tracks and refining your art and honing your skills, it soon will be second nature, and you won't have to think about it so much. It'll just flow out of you. So I hope you enjoyed that lesson. You know, practice over jam tracks. I'll put some of our jam track packages where I've recorded killer studio jam tracks. They sound great. They come with PDF books explaining all the tracks and what you can play over them, what you could try. I'll put links to those, as well as the link to the free lesson and ebook in the text box below the video. Check that out. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, because then you'll get updated when I have new lessons coming out, and this is a continuing series, so you're going to want to catch all these. So hit that subscribe button, and of course check out the website, www.nextlevelguitar.com. It's an amazing site. Beginners, intermediates, advanced lessons, all genres of music, and there's almost 1,000 lessons on there. Video lessons, written lessons, jam tracks. So comprehensive, complete structured guitar curriculum. Check it out. I'll see you next time. Keep rocking, stay positive, keep putting those guitars in your hands every day. Rock on.